on it. So this is incredibly, I've rode a lot, and there's another rider. Let's see if I can get her attention. Nope, she's not interested. Probably can't hear me over her. Her bike sounds pretty good. Let's see if I can hear it. Nope. I don't know if the camera could hear that or not. Probably just thinks I'm a douchebag. What's up, guys? Today I'm going to finally do my review on the 2024 Yamaha MT07. This is my second motorcycle I've ever owned, but the first motorcycle I owned, I literally owned it for about 2 weeks before I decided to upgrade. So you could kind of say that this is my first motorcycle. So with that, take my opinion with a grain of salt, as I don't have a whole lot of opinion, or I don't have a whole lot of experience to base off of. Now, so there's only a few things I want to talk about real quick, and then I will get on the bike and we'll start rolling. There goes the 5.0. So all I really want to talk about before I get on and start riding is the only modification I've done to this bike is there's this hideously ugly fender on the bike that comes stock, and I removed that. It's pretty much the same fender that's on every motorcycle. It's terrible. I removed that, and I put this fender eliminator kit on there. I think it was actually called a tail tidy or a fender eliminator. I can't remember. It was from a cheap company. I don't even know how to pronounce that, but that is the name. I ordered it off as Amazon, and it costed me about $35. I did the install myself. It was super simple, and yeah, that's about all I have to say about that. The one problem with this fender eliminator that I actually put on is that now my rear blinker is kind of right where my foot goes whenever I'm swinging a leg, and I've actually kicked this rear blinker multiple times, kind of broke the little rubber mounting piece that it has, and it still works, it still mounts, but it's pretty easy for me to just kick it right off. So that is one downside I have to that. Anyways, let's go ahead and get it started. I still have the stock exhaust. I think it sounds okay. It's not anything super impressive. I would prefer it to be louder, but it also is kind of cool that it's kind of quiet. So it is what it is. I don't think I'll get a new one just because if I do, I'd probably get the Akrapovic slip-on, but I already want to buy a different bike. Not that I dislike this bike, I just kind of have an addiction to getting new vehicles. So the first thing I'll say, I'll just talk about some cons of riding the bike, because there's not that many, so we'll just get them out of the way. The first con that I'll mention is that when the bike first starts, and this could be common to every bike, you know, this may be something that is not that crazy. Anyways, when I first start the bike needs to warm up. It's not warm yet. It seems like first and second gear are really rough to get in and out of. Same with neutral. Once I get past second gear, though, even when the bike is cold, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth seem just fine. So I have no problem riding after second gear. It doesn't last too long. The bike just needs to warm up, and then those gears are good to go. Something I've started here recently is just starting the bike. I just start the bike and let it run idle before I ride. That seems to help a lot, but as you can you might not be able to tell by what just happened, but I struggled to get in a second, even just a little bit right here. And I've even rode here. I had it sitting idle for 4 or 5 minutes, and then I rode here about, I don't know, 10 blocks to where I'm at. The seat is not comfortable. I have heard that the Yamaha Comfort seat is better, but I've also heard that it's not. So I haven't really invested into a better seat yet, partially because of what I was talking about with why I'm not getting the exhaust, but also just because I'm not really sure what seat to get that would be better. I have I've heard mixed reviews on the Yamaha comfort seat, but then there's also another seat that's like completely custom. I can't remember the name of it, I apologize. And they have a long wait time and it's expensive as hell, so I don't know, it's really hard for me to spend money on a seat because I don't know, I'm cheap and I would rather buy more motorcycles than have a comfortable motorcycle. That's just my opinion. But along the lines of comfort is just the general rideability. I've taken this bike on 2 decent road trips. I did a road trip down into northwest Arkansas, and I rode for about 500 miles on that trip in 2 days. 500 miles in 2 days. And yeah, my ass hurt, my back hurt, my knees hurt, my elbows hurt. Just in general, everything hurt on that ride. I kind of, at the time, I chalked it up to that probably that was because I was carrying a bunch of gear, because I went camping. I camped overnight, and I was carrying a backpack. I had a bunch of gear on the, like, strapped down to the back of the seat. Please don't hit me. He looked like he was going wide. And I kind of was just riding for 500 miles in a very awkward position to make all the gear fit. But that being said, just like a week ago, I did a trip up to Kansas City. I didn't do the mileage count, but I'm pretty sure from Springfield to Kansas City is about 150 miles. So that would be 300 miles altogether, just driving there and back, not counting the little bit of riding I did in Kansas City. But it was the same thing. It hurt. Everything hurt. So basically, it seems like it doesn't matter if I'm wearing gear or not. I mean, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter if I'm loaded down with like camping gear and just different luggage or not. If I ride for an extended period of time, 2-3 hours plus, it hurts. Everything hurts. So this bike, I'm sure there's some comfort things you can do to make it better, like the seat. It'd probably be a big one. But as is, it is not comfortable for touring at all. And yeah, that's really all I have negative to say about it. I guess from here I'll just talk about riding this bike as basically my first bike I've ever rode. At first it was kind of tough. It was a brand new bike, and this is what I'm about to say is probably more so just because it was a brand new bike, but it literally had 0 miles when I rode it off the lot. The place I buy it from, they don't even, I don't remember what they call it, but they don't like to turn the bike on before someone buys it. Something about like registering with Yamaha or something like that, I don't remember. But anyways, all that to say, the bike had literally 0 miles when I rode it off the lot. So yeah, the clutch was incredibly tight. I could barely let off the clutch and it would kill the bike. Which is, yeah, I'm not complaining about it too much. I have plenty of experience with riding or with driving standard cars. My first car was a standard. My second car was a standard. I went a couple cars later. I got another standard. So I have multiple years of driving standard cars. I have well over a decade. So the clutch being tight was not a big deal. It was something weird to get used to, especially I was a little intimidated by the power. I was afraid I was going to loop the bike. I was going to just go into a wheelie and go straight over, you know, over the back. But it took me, I rode it home from the dealership, so it just took me a little, you know, few minutes to understand the clutch, and then I figured it out. I definitely stalled the bike quite a few times in the first week, but I would say after just a few days I was done stalling the bike. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so I now the clutch, it feels good. I broke it in. It feels really good. It's not, I don't know if it's loose. I don't know if someone would say it's loose. I don't have a whole lot of experience with other loose clutches on a motorcycle, but it's really easy to use now. I almost feel like I can't kill it. That Charger sounded pretty good. And I never stall the bike anymore, even on hills or anything like that. So I got over that pretty quickly. As for the brakes, and it does have anti-lock brakes. You can't turn them off. I've heard that you can unplug the fuse in the analog brake system. I've not looked into that at all, and I'm not even actually sure that they were talking about specifically a MT07, so that may be just some bullshit. So I don't know. Look into that if you want to turn the analog brakes off. I think it's fine. I don't know why someone would want to turn them off. I have watched that video from Fort9 where he explains how analog brakes actually, you can stop faster without them. But I don't know. I've had a emergency scenario where I had to slam on the bike. It stopped me just fine, and I didn't slide. I didn't go over the front. So I don't know. I feel safe with the analog brakes. No problem there. So I actually just thought of another. I don't know if I would classify this as a con. I didn't really want to talk about this in the con section because it may just, I mean, it is technically a con, but it's probably really just because of the it's a naked bike. I probably shouldn't expect much else from a naked bike. But when I get this bike up over 100 miles an hour, actually around the 100 mile an hour mark, it starts to feel real, I don't know, just vibey. Like it moves a lot underneath me. It feels scary as shit. The other day I was going probably 110, and I went over an overpass, a bridge, and as soon as I got onto the bridge, I start to feel the bike wobble. It wasn't like a crazy wobble. I wouldn't call it a death wobble, but the bike definitely started doing some crazy shit underneath me. Scared the fuck out of me. But all I did was just slow down, and it stopped. As soon as I got off the bridge, I just sped right back up, and it was no problem. I was keeping up with a female rider on the highway. We were being stupid together. But overall, I would say I really love this bike. I'm torn because I have this addiction inside me that tells me get something new and shiny and fancy. And so I want to get rid of it so that I can get something new and shiny and fancy. But at the same time, I really love this bike, and it was my first bike, and it's a great bike. It's cheap to ride. I get, according to the dash, I'm getting like 60 miles to the gallon most of the time. It's not saying that right now. If I was just flip the modes over to show it, it's not saying that right now because I did like over 100 miles an hour all the way from Kansas City the other day, and so it's lowered that average. But it's cheap to ride. It was pretty cheap to buy. All in all, it was just under $10,000 with all the shipping fees. See, I just stopped right there, no problem. That wasn't really an emergency stop, but with the stocking fees that the dealership charges, and then I got the extended warranty, I got theft protection, I got some shit, and all in all, it was just under $10,000. Brand new bike, less than 0 miles. I feel like that's pretty freaking cheap for a vehicle that gets 60 miles an hour or miles to the gallon. And I ride it every single fucking day, dude. My alternative is to drive my truck, 2017 Chevy Silverado 1500, that gets in town like 13 miles to the gallon. So I'm saving boatloads of money. That truck cost me $35 a week just driving back and forth to work, which I only go into the work like 2-3 days a week, into the office like 2-3 days a week, because I can work from home 50% of my time. And yeah, $35 a week just for driving 3 days out of the week is when I could pay $7 a month and joyride all the time, or I'm sorry, $7 a week, joyride all the time and go to work and just like have more gas than I need. I still have gas. It's amazing. This is definitely a great bike. If you're looking for an excuse to buy a bike, it doesn't really save you a ton of money, but if you want to make an excuse, just use the fuel mileage and the insurance cost. I paid like $45 a month on insurance of this, and I have speeding tickets when I drove my Tesla and all kinds of shit. So yeah, insurance is cheap. Hey, a scooter waved at me. That never happens. That never happens. The scooters almost never wave. I wave to them sometimes, but I stopped waving because they don't even wave back when I wave to them. So that old lady was pretty cool. Anyways, at this point I'm just kind of rambling. I don't really have much else to say about the bike, I guess. Just to sum up what I said, it's uncomfortable for long periods of time. You could probably do some things to make it more comfortable, but I think it just kind of goes with the territory of this sporty naked bike. And yeah, it feels wobbly over 100 miles an hour. Other than that, everything about the bike is fucking amazing. It's super cheap, super peppy. I feel like I can race anybody and beat anybody, even though I probably can't. I love the bike. It's cheap, and it's great. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you like this video, if you like this style of content, you know, drop a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure to, if there's something about this video that you want to see change, you know, like the camera's offset, the camera's not centered, you know, the camera's too bright, something like that. I don't want a helmet cam. I want one of those cameras that looks back at you from the handlebar, something like, I don't know. If you have suggestions, something you'd like to see, let me know, and I'll see what I can do to make those improvements. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.